One of the most disheartening features of American cultural life today is what may be called the treason of the intellectuals. And I'm thinking here not just of the intellectuals on the left, but also the so-called never-Trumpers, intellectuals supposedly on the right who have now become part of that same team and are playing a very designated role in that team. The phrase, the treason of the intellectuals, comes from a Frenchman, Julien Banda, in an essay that he wrote in the 1920s called La Treason des Clercs, the treason of the clerks or the intellectual class. And what Banda noticed was that intellectuals in his time were resorting to outright lying, lies of commission, in which they factually misstate things and hold firm to the lies, and lies of omission, stuff that is left out, things that are left unsaid. And we see this, of course, on the left all the time and with the never-Trumpers. There is a one-sidedness to them in which they magnify the offenses of Republicans. Trump is supposedly a white supremacist because he said something about good people on both sides, and that's it, there's the case. Or here's a photograph of a Klansman with a Trump hat. That proves that the Ku Klux Klan and all racial supremacy groups are for Trump. This is obviously not the normal intellectual standard. An anecdote, really. Where's your evidence? Where's your data? Have you actually done a survey of what white supremacists think? Do you know what their voting habits are? No. There's no effort to even produce this. On top of this, there are lies of omission. And here we deal with the massive cover-up of the crimes of the left and the Democratic Party. The fact that, for example, Hitler was massively influenced by the American left. His sterilization laws were modeled on laws that were developed first by the left in the United States. The Nuremberg racial discrimination laws modeled on the laws of the Democratic Party in the South. Now, all of this covered up in the textbooks, covered up on Wikipedia, covered up on the History Channel. So these are the lies of omission that Banda is talking about. But then he goes on to make a deeper point. He says that the intellectual should be committed not just to truth, but to the Enlightenment notion of universalism. The fact that we are all in this together and that humanity should be judged by a single standard. And here's Banda. Those who for centuries had exhorted men, at least theoretically, to deaden the feeling of their differences have now come to praise them. What he means is that we have gone from praising universalism to now praising particularism, the particularism of race or class or gender or sexual orientation. So in a frightening way that even Banda could not have contemplated, we now see the intellectuals of the left with their cousins, the never-Trumpers, celebrating differences and betraying the universalism of the Enlightenment tradition. This is the depressing treason of the intellectuals. These are the people who give thought itself a bad name.